Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast.
Welcome back to the Sneakers and Cleats podcast. It is, what day is it? Thursday, July 31st. This is episode 260, and I'm Matt Roy, in with Chuck McGinnick. Don is off today. He will be back when we come back. Quick programming note, we will not have a podcast next week, so no Monday, Thursday tradition. We will be back on August 11th. Zach and I are both having our last hurrahs before football season truly starts. So we will be out, but today we have a loaded schedule for you. So remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, both News 4, Fox SA, download, rate, review the podcast version if you're so inclined. Chuck, how are you? I forgot to ask. How are you?
I'm doing great, Matt. How are you? How was your sojourn to the Northwest or pseudo-Northwest?
Yeah, is that the Northwest technically? South Lake Tahoe? Is that technically south?
I guess not, because it's in the South.
I mean, it's it's the south side of the lake.
Right.
Counts. It was really fun. If for anyone who hasn't gone to South Lake Tahoe, it is a blast. North Lake is fun too, but South Lake, heck of a good time. Went up there for my buddy's bachelor party and basically flew into Phoenix on Friday. Drove up with my buddies from Phoenix to South Lake, about 11, 12 hours. Got there, and I think I had an adult beverage in my hand until we left on Tuesday. So that's
fair enough. Good time was had by all.
I'm sure you can imagine how that went. We went on the lake a couple of times. We had shout out to Duncan in the Tahoe Keys Marina. He's one of the boat rental guys. He owns a business there. Who took us out on the water. We were all big guys, like I am. Like I'm 6'6", 270. So we're all considerably larger than what they anticipated going onto that boat, and we couldn't get the regular boat fast enough to tube. So then he was like, since my company, I feel bad. I'll take you out tomorrow on us completely free. So we got to go out on the boat twice, which was just so much fun. Cliff dove, lost my Apple Watch. It belongs to a dead guy at the bottom of Lake Tahoe now. It belongs to the fishes. Allegedly. Yes. I'm sure there's someone dead down there. That's just, there was all these stories about the mafia. They used to be their dumping ground was Lake Tahoe because it's the second deepest lake in all of North America. So,
So Godfather 2, that was not just a movie.
No, concrete shoes.
Okay.
And then we went tubing and had cigars at sunset on Lake Tahoe on Sunday, and it was a whole bunch of fun. Lost a lot of money at the casino, but sorry.
What was your game?
I'm a poker guy, but I play blackjack, and then I lost more money at craps though. Craps
is supposed to be the fun. I've never really played craps.
It's fun, but man, it can go quick. You can win it quick, but you can lose it real quick.
Yeah, you can lose it real quick. So that I wanted to get all my buddies like on a table, and they were all not having it. So I went and played craps for myself, and that
did Jordan blow on the dice?
Huh?
Did Jordan?
Jordan wasn't there. It's a bachelor party.
So who was blowing on the dice?
You don't need. No one needs to know. Obviously, they didn't do a good enough job. That's how I hawked the Apple Watch. I didn't lose it.
True story.
No, but it was a bunch of fun. Next week is even better though. We're going with Jordan's family to the Dominican Republic, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Nice, the DR.
Yeah, so got a bunch of stuff going on. But anyway, let's get to why we're really here. Also, congratulations, Chuck, on becoming a grandfather. It's really cool. And your birthday.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What did you say your son got you for your birthday?
He was like, shout out Kate. He got me a roll of snuff, so that was like the best birthday present ever. My daughter came in second place with the second best birthday present, Emily. She handed me a baseball, and it has imaged on the ball her sonogram, and it says, "I can't wait to meet you."
That's awesome,
man. That was next time I'll wear a cup.
Or
it's weird being a grandpa because it's like I don't remember being this gushy when I was a dad, but something about watching your kids go through this. It's really, really cool.
I can just imagine Chuck at brunch, like,
wasn't quite like that, but it was close.
It was close. All right. Well, a good weekend was had by all. Let's get to this. De'Aaron Fox extension eligible next week, or actually on Saturday.
Wait a minute.
What?
Area code.
Oh, we're getting to that. Hold on. I know where you're going. I'm getting to that because I know that it was this is my first day back. My weekend's about to start in a day and a half anyway.
Oh man, did you time that well?
Guys, I come back to Thursday, Friday, and I leave for 9 days. Like I timed this out perfectly. We're gonna get to the area code because I know Bob knows the area code.
It was my number.
I know. I checked your number just to see if you still had it. De'Aaron Fox extension eligible on Saturday, but with all the turnover and luck that the Spurs have had in the off season and with ping pong balls, is he still in for a 4-year, $229 million extension? Talk about that, plus a hilarious story from Derrick White about how Coach Pop told him he was traded to the Celtics. It was one of the better ones. A heartfelt moment from Chris Paul at the introductory press conference with the Clippers, and a little bit of Project Marvel news. I know we talked about that a little bit on Monday, or you guys did with Zach. Thanks for filling in after he was on the morning show for 5 hours that morning. It's a hell of a wake-up call for Zach, but thanks for sticking around and hosting the podcast, filling in for me. A little bit more as we hear more about the trickling of information. $18.7 billion economic impact is what we're hearing that Project Marvel could have on the city of San Antonio and the surrounding areas for 30 years after everything is built. So football, NFL preseason officially here, just a few hours away from Chargers Lions. Trey Lance taking on Hendon Hooker, I think, who's gonna start for the Lions. So that'll be fun. But I want to talk about the NFL Hall of Fame because it's one of the best weekends of the entire football season, and it's the first weekend of the entire football season. I love the Hall of Fame speeches. They're fantastic at all times. Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Antonio Gates, Sterling Sharp, all being inducted this weekend. We'll talk about them a little bit. Plus, Dallas Cowboys training camp getting chippy once again. They had to run yesterday, literally stopped practice after 45 plays and ran sprints. First time I've seen an NFL team do that in a really long time. So we'll talk about that. Could be the first crisis under Coach Shoddy's tenure. And lastly, if we have time, which I doubt we will running the ball. Luis, put your scroll away. Will running the ball be their true identity? So without further ado, Bob, 216, what's the zip code?
That's the
Or what's the area
Akron-Cleveland. It used to be the whole Akron-Cleveland area, 216. Now it's just the Cleveland and Cuyahoga County area. Where I grew up, it used to be 216. Now it's 330. So my phone number was 216-659-9003.
You don't have
Why
it
don't you call that number right now?
You
and
don't
see
have
who
it
picks
anymore?
up?
It's my mom and dad, so call my mom and dad.
Oh, okay. It's still the same number, huh?
There's going to be hundreds of random people like, hi, is this Mrs. Gambert?
I honestly don't know if they still have a landline
They could.
these days. It would surprise me. But we'll find out.
Call and ask him.
My grandmother still has a landline.
Really?
Oh, it's only for I think it's just for her alarm system. That goes
I feel
through
like
there.
Chuck probably still has a landline.
No, but I was one of the last probably to get rid of the landline.
You have a
But
landline, Luis?
when you start getting more phone calls that from people you don't know than people you do know, it's time to get rid of the landline.
I kind of want to get rid of get a new cell phone number. I've had the same number since I was 9 years old. So
Really?
it's been what?
You had a cell phone when you were 9?
It was literally a phone just so I could call my mom.
Oh,
I could call my mom and play Snake on it. That's it. That's all I could do. It was this big ass block.
Somebody was going to kidnap
Somebody, yeah.
you. You were probably 6'2" at the age of.
I had my mom had an ID bracelet on me too because she was so afraid of me being kidnapped. I was a
Precious.
relatively small child until 11.
Precious.
Then it all went away.
Dangerous times in California.
Yeah, no, it's not. In Palm Desert, Palm Springs, California, the huge crime ring that's happening in the retirement community that I grew up in. Anyway, so yes, zip code is Cleveland. So good
Thank
job,
you
Bob.
for that.
Good job. Hey, the next 217 I know as well because I lived there. Hint, hint for August 11th. So, anyway, let's get to De'Aaron Fox. So De'Aaron Fox and sorry to anyone who is who's yelling at their YouTube or podcast app. Get to the stuff. We're getting there. All right. De'Aaron Fox was traded to a much different team than the Spurs have right now. It was a team that did not have Dylan Harper, that Steph Castle was still working his way through his rookie year. Devin Vassell was still kind of just coming back from injury. And everyone was like, okay, De'Aaron Fox is going to be on this team for a really long time. Now he is on Saturday going to be eligible for a 4-year, $229 million deal, which all signs have pointed to him doing. But I don't think it's as foregone of a conclusion as it was a few months ago because of the Dylan Harper factor.
Yeah, I think you could probably go back into the archives here and find me never saying one time that he was going to get a max deal. I mean, he still might, and hopefully he does. I hope for him he can get that kind of money, but the Spurs aren't making any deals where they're on the hook for anything going forward. I mean, this is a house that they're building one brick at a time, and hopefully Derrick Fox will be here to see some of the fruits of his early labor with this ball club, but I don't think there was ever a point at any time where anybody promised this particular player a max contract extension. He might get a contract extension, but the max, we'll see about that.
I think that, man, we've said this before. I think that there was a handshake, wink, 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 nod, nod agreement when they made the trade. This is the only place that De'Aaron Fox wanted to go. The Spurs had all the leverage, and he could have gone numerous other places. Where would he have come here if they did not promise him a 4-year, $229 million deal? I don't know. But his wife's from here. He's from the Houston area. This has a lot of ties for him. And so I think this is where he wanted to go for a lot of reasons, one of which was they're going to give him $229 million.
I think the biggest reason was Victor, and I think there's a chance their camp feels like they can make whatever money they don't get in a max deal on the back end. In other words, just by playing on good teams with Victor Wembanyama and, kind of that connection to a really good player.
What I don't know is how Dylan Harper changed the forecast, because he most definitely did. They didn't expect to get the number 2 pick. Like, you never expect to, but when they did, it entirely changed the trajectory of this team, and it can change the way that they're thinking about the future as well. Does Dylan Harper, does the emergence of Steph Castle change the way that they look at De'Aaron Fox? That's the question that we don't know the answer to.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, especially when you're talking about the dollars that are at stake, right? I mean, because if you talk about those other guys, they're all under rookie contracts. So, does this now mean that he's expendable in some ways?
Well, it also gives you can look at that 2 ways. Yes, they're on rookie deals. That gives you money to sign De'Aaron Fox, or do you want to save that money for someone else? So but also, since you now have De'Aaron Fox in the building, who else would you want to bring in? Like this, he seems to have, he's 27 years old. I think he's going to be 28 by the time the season starts. Is he part of this future is what you have to ask yourself. And I think that they haven't seen enough to be able to answer that question. And you have to give him this extension, this max extension, in order to find out.
It's an interesting proposition, right? Because, I mean, I would want De'Aaron Fox on my team.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want De'Aaron Fox on a max deal? Probably not, but I still want him on my team. I guess the question for me becomes, which one of these guys on the team would you rather have other than De'Aaron Fox, or would you rather have De'Aaron Fox as opposed to one of the younger guys? Ultimately,
that's a good question. I think at this point you have to answer Wemby would be first and then Fox would be second on your team, because you don't know exactly. Like, Steph Castle had a good year, but is he going to be De'Aaron Fox? We don't know that yet. Dylan Harper, he's got all the potential in the world. Is he going to be De'Aaron Fox? We don't know that yet.
right?
So right now, do you want, what is it, a bird in the hand or a bird or whatever in the bush?
6 of this, half.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
blah,
if there's
blah,
so many
blah,
extensions you can, or expressions you can go with here. I think that they give him the long-term extension for max money Saturday. The only way, or at least within the next week, I think the only way that they do it is like they're going to give him 4 years. Is it going to be 229? Is it going to be 212? Is it going to be 215? Like, is he going to give them a little bit of a discount? I don't know. I don't think so. I would imagine that he's going to get his bag and that he's going to take and run, or not take and run, but he's going to take it and play as well as De'Aaron Fox has played over the last 8 years.
Yeah, I would. I mean, if you were betting on a guy, right, you'd bet on this player for sure. I don't know, man. That's a lot of money to tie up.
But who else are you paying? You don't have anyone else to pay. Like, De'Aaron Fox, this deal will take him through. It's an extension, so it'll add on to the next 4 years. So basically, he'll be in San Antonio unless they trade him for the next 5 years.
Man, I mean, I was surprised you said that he hasn't shown you enough yet. I mean,
well, he was hurt. He didn't show basically anything. We basically saw 6 games of him and Victor before Victor went out, and then he went out in March with his pinky. So, like, we didn't see anything. I liked him.
I thought he showed us a ton.
I like De'Aaron Fox. I don't want this to seem like I'm poo-pooing De'Aaron Fox. I like De'Aaron Fox a lot, but we didn't see him in a Spurs uniform for more than like 15 games. Like, and I think that the Spurs organization needs to see him and how he meshes with Victor over a longer period of time. And I think they were hoping to do that in the last 3 months of the season and potentially in a playoff run, but they didn't get that chance. So now it kind of puts them against the wall of, we need to sign him to an extension because we need to see what we have, and they weren't able to see what they have. You know,
I don't know. I think they shut him down. I think they shut him down.
yeah,
You know
they
what I
shut
mean?
him down, but
I think they did that because they saw what they needed to see.
But I think he also wasn't playing his best. But that you can probably chalk that up to his finger being broken. Like,
man, if that's not his best, he's pretty damn
I mean,
good.
he's damn good. I'm not saying he's not. He's a damn good player, and I would
I
rather.
don't see why you hate Fox so much.
You know, I hate Aaron Fox. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, he's different, right? He looks different. He
Yeah.
plays different. I want different guys on my team, guys like him.
Let me
Sure.
let me give you this, Chuck. Do you think by the time we get back here on August 11th, you won't be here, but by the time we have another podcast on August 11th, I hope I'm getting that date right, that De'Aaron Fox will have signed his deal?
I mean, flip a coin. Do I think that? I mean, I guess it depends on what it's for. If it's a max deal.
Do you think he will have, I'll make it more specific, 4 years, $229 million?
Is that the max?
That's the max.
No.
So you do not think that he will sign a max extension?
I think he would
that
like
day?
to. I just don't know that it's going to be a
You don't think the
4 to
Spurs will
2
give
now.
him? You don't think the Spurs will give him the full max at this
As we
point?
sit here today, no.
I think by the time our heads hit the pillow on Saturday night, he will have a full
Okay.
4 year, $229 million max extension for a lot of reasons, mainly because one, the Spurs have the money to do it right now. They're not paying anybody really besides 25 and 20 to KJ, Harrison Barnes, and Vassell. And I don't think that they would renege on that handshake deal that I believe took place. But we'll see. Let's talk about Derrick White here. Derrick White and his hilarious Coach Popovich story. So on a podcast this week, I forgot which one it was, Derrick White told a really funny story about how Coach Pop told him he was traded from the Spurs to the Celtics. So take a listen to this.
Getting traded is crazy. We're in Atlanta. Pop walks into the room and is like, hey, we traded you, and doesn't say anything. I'm like, to where? And he was like, we wouldn't have you. We sent you to Boston. And I'm like, all right, yeah, that's cool. Like, I think I thought I was like, yeah, I'll fit well there. But it's also like, what do I do? Brendan Bowman, he texts me, he's like, you want me to get you a bottle? Like, yes. So me and B start playing dominoes and drinking.
And so he goes on to say that they went to play dominoes and were drinking, and then the Spurs people came up and were like, you have a flight in an hour and a half, and he's lit. And so he's like, all right. So he's drunk heading to the Celtics to get some of his stuff done. But I just think that's funny that's the way the Pop tells him, we're not going to F you. We sent you to Boston. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's such a brutal business though, right? I mean, you talk about guys being uprooted and you think about that today with all the last second trades that are going to be made in baseball, right? You're right in the middle of the season. You got to walk into a clubhouse and you don't know anybody. And, same thing for Derrick White, but boy, he sure has made his mark in the NBA, hasn't he?
Speaking of which, did you see I want to say it was Friday or Saturday, there was a doubleheader between the Blue Jays and the Orioles. They played one game, and then there was an inter-team trade between the two of them, and a reliever basically had to walk down the hall and compete against the team that he was just playing for a couple hours ago against them in the doubleheader.
And then he pitched in that game.
Yeah.
Which is even more bizarre. Yes.
And the Orioles beat him.
Baseball's weird that way, right? Yeah.
Well, it reminds me of Moneyball when he's like, I don't want Rincon pitching against me tonight or whatever it was. And he's like, all right, send him over. But I thought that was a really funny story from Derrick White. Let's get to Chris Paul here. Cool moment this week. Chris Paul, his impact on the team, his impact on the organization, his impact on the city. He was here for less than a year. He played all 82 games, and I think that his impact will be felt for a long time. And I think that the impact that he felt from the organization, which I don't know if we've really comprehended yet, apparently it made a huge mark on him as well. So let's hear from Chris Paul.
Before I answer anything else, I just want to say thank you so much to, first and foremost, the San Antonio Spurs, to the Hope family, to R.C. Buford, to Greg Popovich, the legend himself, to Mitch Johnson, who coached us this past year, and all my teammates. Without this past year in San Antonio, if that doesn't happen, I don't have this opportunity to actually come back here and play this year. So thank you so much to the Spurs and their organization.
I hate the background that the Clippers use for those press conferences, the changing like digital background, that would make cutting together a bite so freaking hard. Just I just think that
Wow,
way.
I wasn't even thinking
I
about it
didn't
in
think
those
about that at
terms.
all.
You're right.
Yeah, that's just how I think about things.
You got to use AI to take the background out.
Yeah, seriously. But second, I was watching the press conference. I was like, okay, I have to go find the bite. And he stops a question from being asked. He's like, I forgot to say this at the beginning. Thank you to the Spurs and whatnot. So I thought that was just really cool that a minute and a half into his press conference, he's thanking R.C. Buford and Mitch Johnson and the legend himself, El Jefe, Greg Popovich, and everything that San Antonio did for him. And it seems like San Antonio being here renewed his love of the game. And now he's going to take a lesser role to be around his family at the Clippers, but renewed his love for the game, showing him that he could still do something at a high level.
Yeah, he earned this opportunity based on what he did here. That's for sure. I mean, the fact that the guys his age playing every single game, as you pointed out, I mean, hats off. That was fun watching him do what he did this year.
Oldest player in NBA history to play all 82 games in a season. That is just
salute.
You can't, especially in an era where nobody plays 82 games in a season.
Said.
So absolutely fantastic by Chris Paul. Want to talk about Project Marvel a little bit here. We're not going to get too much into it like you guys did on Monday, but just one other thing that came out in the last couple of days since you guys had the discussion is that Project Marvel, according to an independent organization, CSL International, which is a tourism consulting firm which has offices in Frisco, Minneapolis, and New York. They conducted an independent economic impact analysis. It says that Project Marvel as a whole could bring in $18.7 billion to San Antonio over the next 30 years. For reference, the project itself is estimated to cost $4 billion. So that's a little bit of bang for your buck, about 3.5 times as much as what it costs. I'm just going through my notes here real quick. The files show that the city of San Antonio stands to collect about $350 million in tax collections from the project over the 30 years. It also shows that a new Spurs arena could generate $225 million in new spending annually. So we're getting kind of a little trickle of information as we learn more and more about Project Marvel.
Yes, and we're still waiting.
I was expecting
more.
you to continue to go.
I will. I don't know how to respond. I mean, there's still so much that we don't know about this, and it's like even with those numbers, how do they know? I mean, we still don't know who's going to pay for between $200 and $500 million in what's left
infrastructure.
Well, that and the increase in the venue tax.
Yeah, it'll be venue tax and the overrun.
Right.
That's going to be paid by the Spurs.
Again, it's just that hopefully in the days and weeks to come here, because we're running out of time with this, there's a little more transparency. And I think I don't know that I've changed much on that stance either. I mean, there's still a lot that's not been put out there, and we're having to read between the lines a lot. And that, quite frankly, makes me feel really bad for our city leaders, because it's hard to make a decision when you really don't have all of the information in front of you yet.
Well, the number that they were waiting for was what the Spurs were going to contribute. And now that we know that number, that at least what they're willing to pony up, it's a little bit easier for everyone, because we kind of know what the venue tax is going to give. It's going to be $450 million if they up it by 0.25%. 211 of that, or something of that nature, 209 has to go to Freeman and to renovate the Frostbank Center for the stock show and rodeo. So you're going to have about 240 left. The rest of that money comes from the Spurs. I mean, it's 240 there, plus 500 million from the Spurs, so plus 500 million from the city. Whatever's left, the Spurs are going to have to pay for. So, and they've already said they'll take care of the overruns. So we'll see what all the figures end up being, but we kind of have what the arena is going to look like now.
Well, the broader question again is this for me: if this is so easy and so cut and dry, why don't we have more people from the city, more people from the Spurs, whoever it is that's trying to get this passed, making it more public, i.e. media, having press conferences and stuff like that, to kind of show people where we're at?
I think that's going to happen over the next month and a half, 2 months. There will be a huge media campaign, a huge blitz from the people who want this. There's plenty of people who don't want it. There will be a huge blitz of information, of sharing of content, sharing of information, all that stuff over the next few months. So when people go to the ballot box, which it's not on the ballot yet, but it likely will be, the venue tax and the infrastructure bond, when people go and vote on those things, they will have all the information, and we've been promised that by multiple different entities. But I think it's fair to say, and Don's not going to like that I'm going to say this because he thinks that I'm painting it in a bad light, but it's true. I've been told by multiple people at the city level that this does not happen without the voters. Without that infrastructure, if that bond fails, the infrastructure bond fails, then all of this fails. Project Marvel does not happen without the infrastructure bond. What they won't say is if it fails, we're going to put it on the May ballot, and then we'll put it on the next November ballot, and they'll get it passed eventually. But this Project Marvel, does not happen without voters say so. It might not say arena on your ballot. It might not say Project Marvel on your ballot, but it's on the ballot. So,
I'm saying that since November.
Yeah.
Just remember that too.
Yeah.
The bottom line, and we titled the last podcast, "Are the Spurs going to leave San Antonio?" And it was like one of the most trending articles that we've done in a while, right? That's the bottom line to people. I mean, they hear all these numbers and 50 billion, 100 billion, 3 trillion, whatever it is. I think the bottom line to people are the Spurs staying or going, and how much do I got to pay?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this briefly the other day, and I don't want to be the guy that's ringing the bell or scare tactics or anything else, but I guess it bears repeating that the Spurs, through all this, Peter J. Holt has said that we need this in order to compete in the new NBA. So you can take from that what you will. I mean, I don't think anybody from their side has been ringing the bell that we're going to pick up stakes and leave town and we're going to do all these things, right? I don't think anybody's playing that card. However, as I did report here, I don't know how many days ago, like they will have to weigh their options if these bonds don't pass. So, because they've told you what they need in order to make something like this happen. So the other question then becomes, well, there are obviously many, but if you're thinking about, or if they're thinking about moving here, there, anywhere, can these other cities give to what Jalen McKee has said? Can you get a better deal somewhere else? I don't know that we're living in those times anymore. I mean, Chiefs win a Super Bowl. Royals,
I think,
they go to the taxpayers, and everybody said no there. I mean, we're living in a different era right now because of how much pork there is in every bill and how much everybody's already getting taxed. And so, what does this look like ultimately? I mean, you could throw Austin out there, but does the Moody Center want dates blocked off for November, December, January, February, March, April, and then 2 months that you have to leave the venue open in case your team makes the playoffs? I mean, so you can't book other dates. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts when you start spitballing, will the Spurs go someplace else? I mean, obviously we're nowhere near that point, right? I mean, and November's a long ways away. So, again, you're right. I think when voters are going to decide this, and then, we'll see what the next card that gets played after that, one way or the other.
I heard someone, I forgot who it was, so I hate that I forgot because I'd like to give him credit for saying this, but it might have been Minix, actually. It might have been Jason Minix, who said that that San Antonio is a Spurs leaving away from being El Paso. The Spurs are integrated into the fiber of San Antonio.
Sure.
You can't have, I can't imagine San Antonio without the Spurs being.
I can't either.
So I think, and I think that Jalen is doing what he feels is right and saying what he feels is right in his 10 minutes of let the Spurs move and explore other options if they want to explore other options, because that's what he feels his constituents want. But the impact and the devastation in San Antonio, if the Spurs left, cannot be understated.
100%.
I don't feel like this is that time. Like, no one has talked about that yet. That's the question everyone wants to know is are the Spurs going to leave? Are the Spurs going to move? That's like, if we're going to the top floor and that's the top floor is having that discussion, we're below ground right now. Like that is not part of the conversation, is them leaving. they're trying to find out, and I don't want to sound like a Spurs apologist because maybe I will right now because Don's not here to do it. But the Spurs are trying to figure out a way that they can not only help the city, but help themselves. They want to build an arena downtown that will be the centerpiece, one of the anchor projects of a transformative downtown renovation. And the fact that they're going to kick in $500 million for other city projects regarding Project Marvel and $500 million plus overrun, so it'll probably end up being closer to $600 or $700 million for the arena, tells me and should tell voters, in my opinion, that they're willing to bear a lot of this cost, and they're willing to make a significant investment into the validity and the transformation of San Antonio.
Well said.
That's what it tells me. And so all these talks of will the Spurs leave, I don't even think the door is even cracked open. I think there's 5 deadbolts plus boards across the door for that conversation to even be open.
I'm with you on that in a lot of regards. I mean, I get that it's out there, and there's a part of me that thinks that it hasn't gotten out there till just now, right? I mean, this is, all these things about people worried about, well, they're playing 2 games in Austin, 4 games in Austin, that this wasn't somehow
the one
that nobody's really given this option any credence, right? So, and again, I don't know that we should, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but, I don't think anybody, what the Spurs mean. There's a lot of people in this country, on this planet, when they think of San Antonio, they think of one thing, right? They literally have been the doorstep to our community. But, again, this is a negotiation. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, and this is a lot for city leaders to take in. And again, the Spurs, they're the inertia behind this, and they're going to be running this project, and they're going to be in charge of this project once it's completed, and they're going to run it, and they're going to reap the benefits of all the money that they are investing.
Well, they're still going to be paying a lease to the city. The city's going to be making money that way. They're still going to own, technically, I think they're still going to own the building. So they'll get the naming rights deals, and that'll be split between the two. So, I mean, they're still going to be profiting off of this.
Right. I mean, and that's part of,
it feeds everyone's mouth, is what they're kind of trying to say. That's why the Spurs don't want to put in 1.5. They could. They have the money to. They have, with all their investors and whatnot, they have the money to put in $1.5 billion if they really had to. But what Peter J. Holt's point is it's been a good way to do this that they had with the Frost Bank Center. Like, it's privately operated but publicly owned, and so that's the way he wants to do this one. So we'll see what happens. But let me ask you just one thing about what Jalen said that you mentioned as well is the 2 games in Austin. I thought that was Jalen's best point. Is if we're going to give you $500 million to build this arena, you're playing 41 games here. Like, we're not playing 2 games in Austin anymore. We're not playing games in France. We're not playing games in Mexico City. We're not doing any of those things. If we're going to build you a $1.5 billion arena, we're playing 41 games here. And I think that was his best point that he made.
Well, I mean, for me, I thought he made valid points in a lot of areas, right? Because
I'm not saying he didn't, but that's his best.
His concerns are shared by a lot of people. Trust me when I say that.
Let me just ask you guys one question.
Yeah.
If there's no chance of the Spurs leaving, does this arena get built? Like, if the Spurs came out and said today, look, it doesn't matter one way or another, we're going to stay here no matter what.
No, because they've said that.
The Spurs have gone on record and said
the Spurs have said we have no interest in leaving. Our fabric is San Antonio.
So we're going to stay here regardless. They've said it.
They didn't say we'll stay here regardless, but they've said that, like a semblance of that, a synonym, something close to that.
That's it. But that's news to me. I didn't know that.
I mean, yeah.
Behind closed doors, they have talked to people about weighing their options.
Well, you always have to weigh your options, but
I mean, again, that's one of the options. I think when you're talking about 1,000 different options, I don't think regardless, you can't say that that's not a possibility.
No, but if push comes to shove, and they go out and go to, let's just pull a name out of a hat that wants an NBA franchise, Seattle or Vegas. And Vegas is like, yeah, we want you guys here. This is what we're willing to give you. We're willing to tear down the T-Mobile Center and build you guys a new arena right there. You don't think that they would bring that back to San Antonio and be like,
yes,
here you go. This is what we're going to do if you guys don't.
And
don't
if you
do
can
this.
get a better deal in someplace else, I mean, why wouldn't they then do that?
Exactly. So, I mean, there's so much hay that's not in the barn on this. Like, no hay is in the barn. There is zero hay. So we'll talk about that when
I'm with you.
when
I
more
mean,
hay gets in the barn. But
you're really putting the cart before the horse on this one.
Yes.
So let's just see what happens in November, and then maybe we'll have a different conversation.
Yes. Anything from anybody right now, Bob?
There was a whole lot of talk on when we were talking about De'Aaron Fox on the price that it will cost to keep him, and they're just how much cost right now. And like, so the question overall, if I combine all these comments, is can the Spurs? Is it affordable? Is it going to be affordable for the next few years for him to be signed? I don't know anything about that.
Harrison Barnes on expiring contract. De'Aaron Fox is already costing $30-something million. So when he bumps up now to what's the math? 56 million.
Yeah,
56 million. Harrison Barnes will not be on this team. They're gonna have to probably get rid of KJ or Devin Vassell or someone else that has a little bit of money there. They can make it work. It's not like you're getting rid of the entire bench just to give De'Aaron Fox this money, because it's not going to go into effect this year. It's going to go into effect next year. By then, Harrison Barnes will already be off the books because his contract is expiring anyway. So the money aspect of it, plus you're not paying Steph, you're not paying Dylan Harper, you're not paying Wemby yet. Wemby's extension eligible, I think, next summer. So all those things come into the factor. That's one of the reasons they would give him that extension, is because there's not really that much money on the books yet. So
Hey, and one other thing, Tom is in the house,
hello, Tom.
shout out Tom Guerrero.
and Rocky. Remember Rocky?
Hey, Rocky.
Garza.
Yes.
Wow, he leaves and he still listens. That's so nice of him.
Yeah.
Love Rocky. We're gonna do Hall of Fame real quick, and we're skipping the Cowboys. Sorry for whoever was listening for the entire Cowboys conversation. We are already at like 40 minutes, so we're running out of time.
Jeepers.
Well,
We're long-winded.
we
aren't
are long-winded. There's only two of us here too.
I know.
Didn't even have Don here. Anyway, so Hall of Fame this weekend. Football is back officially. You can catch the Hall of Fame game over on NBC News 4 San Antonio. WOAI cover starts at 6. Game is at 7. We'll be on right after that. I'm in for Don today, obviously, since he's not here on the pod. Hall of Famers, though, Hall of Fame inductions is Saturday. That's one of my favorite days of the entire NFL season because I love the speeches. The speeches sometimes are long-winded. I didn't love Ray Lewis's speech, which went for like an hour and a half. That was not good, but the rest of the speeches are very, very, very good. And this week, Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Antonio Gates, Sterling Sharp, finally, all being inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. Any stories about the four of them? Any of the four? You don't have to give one about everybody.
So
I know you're a Packer fan. Sterling
I
Sharp
am.
is.
So my parents, when my dad retired from the military, they went back up to Green Bay to be closer to their both sets of parents. And my dad has amazing stories about Sterling Sharp and the height of his Packerdom. You know, going out and on a Saturday would be coaching little league teams, just show up at random parks and, help with coaching. And, so I don't know that you would see a lot of guys doing that while they were starring on NFL teams, but Jared Allen, geez, as a Packer fan, that guy stone in my
Minnesota,
shoe.
yeah.
I mean, and obviously one of the great characters in NFL history, right? And then Eric Allen and Antonio Gates is pros, right? You never heard of those guys doing anything but what you saw on Sunday,
Yeah.
just quiet, went about their business and kicked your keister more often than not. Wow, what a class going in.
As a Bronco fan, Jared Allen and Antonio Gates haunt my nightmares. Antonio Gates with the Chargers inspired me to want to play tight end, actually, because I was a basketball player growing up and then ended up going and playing football afterwards. So Antonio Gates was awesome. I remember him, Phillip Rivers, Danian Tomlinson, Darren Sproles. The list goes on and on about those teams that San Diego had before they went to LA. But that Marty Schottenheimer year where they went 13-3 and lost in the AFC Championship game was one of the best teams to never win a Super Bowl. Like, it was so good. I remember actually hearing that they lost when I was at Knott's Berry Farm in Southern California.
Wally World.
I was like 10, 11 years old. I was like, they lost. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Why wasn't your family watching the game?
I don't know. I was throwing up on a ride or something. I literally did throw up on the silver bullet is what they called it. But anyway, who else was it? Jared Allen, amazing. Sterling Sharp, I feel bad for a little bit because he was always overshadowed by his brother's big personality. And even this week, Shannon Sharp gets fired from ESPN. They say that they're not going to renew his contract on the week that Sterling Sharp is getting inducted.
Well,
to the Hall
actually,
of Fame.
Sterling is the older brother.
Yeah, but he was always like he had those injuries that hampered his career.
Yeah.
And Shannon Sharp is one of the best tight ends of all time. And so I feel like Shannon, you sometimes he's the forgotten brother, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's
even though he's older.
He had massive disdain for the media.
Yeah.
So I think for him, he probably liked it just the way it turned out. It's like, I don't want all the eyes on me all the time. And he was another guy that, really good expressing himself, but damn fine football player. And if he hadn't had the neck injury,
he was the better brother if he didn't have the neck injury. Like he was a stud receiver.
Yeah.
This wouldn't even have been a question of him being in the Hall of Fame if he never got injured. He
Well
was
said.
fantastic. I did see last night Shannon Sharp went onto his podcast. I forgot what it's called. All the Smoke, something like that. Nightcap. Nightcap is what it is. He went on there and he told ESPN, like, they told him at the beginning of the week, and he said, "Can you hold this information until next week? Because I don't want it to overshadow Sterling." And of course, nothing is sacred, so it comes out midweek. And so he was a little upset that it came out midweek and was profusely apologizing to Sterling Sharp and his brother, and was like, "Dude, you're my baby brother. Like, it's fine. We're good. We're gonna have a hell of a time in Canton, and it's gonna be great." But do feel bad for Sterling Sharp that some of that shine of his weekend gets overshadowed, and hopefully it doesn't by the Shannon Sharp news. But
well said.
Bob, anything else?
I'm just reading one right now. Hold on. It's from Joe Jam. He says,
Toe Jam?
He says, do the players have any input on what music is being played when they have the ball on the court? Do the Spurs arena sound guys ask the players what songs they want to be played in a game?
That used to not be the case, but I don't know if that's changed. I mean, you see what the Cowboys are doing at their training camp.
I'd be
right?
willing
The
to bet that
players
the
get to
Spurs
put
have a
their-
little bit of say on what gets played. I mean,
Because
I think if Wemby went up there and was like, "Play this," they would say, "Okay."
It's like, when you heard Crazy Train on the in-house, I'm pretty sure none of the players were requesting Crazy Train.
Well, there's some musts that you play at arenas. So anyway, remember, download, rate, review, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, tell a friend, tell an enemy. We will be back Monday, August 11th. No shows next week. Everyone have a great beginning of August. Football is here. We'll talk more about that August 11th when we come back. See you then.